High above, a silent shadow patrols the skies, the Northrop Grumman B-2 Spirit, America's ultimate stealth bomber. Its flying wing design makes it nearly invisible to radar, allowing it to slip through the world's most advanced air defenses. But its true power lies in what it carries: the GBU-57A/B Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunker buster built to shatter the world's most fortified underground targets. Together, the B-2 and its mountain-cracking payload form a strategic duo unmatched in modern warfare. This is the story of a weapon system that blurs the line between science fiction and reality, projecting power anywhere, anytime, without warning. Welcome to the terrifying reality of modern air dominance. The B-2 and GBU-57 were born from the Cold War's demand for unstoppable, flexible power. Strategic bombers became the most adaptable leg of the nuclear triad, able to strike, recall, or signal without launching a single weapon. As air defenses grew deadlier, the US needed a bomber that could vanish from radar and reach any target. Simultaneously, adversaries buried their most vital assets deep underground, out of reach of conventional bombs. The answer: a stealth bomber paired with a weapon designed to penetrate and destroy the world's most hardened bunkers. The B-2 and GBU-57 together solved two of modern warfare's toughest challenges: stealthy delivery and unstoppable force. This is the legacy of America's quest for global air dominance. In the late 1970s, the U.S. Air Force faced a crisis. Its aging B-52s were no match for evolving Soviet air defenses. The solution was radical: create a bomber that relied on invisibility, not speed or altitude. Thus began the top-secret Advanced Technology Bomber program, pushing the limits of aerospace engineering and stealth. Northrop's flying wing design, shrouded in secrecy, became the B-2 Spirit, a machine that looked like science fiction brought to life. When unveiled in 1988, the B-2's tailless, smooth shape stunned the world and redefined aerial warfare. It was more than a bomber, it was a new doctrine: hold any target at risk, anywhere, anytime. The B-2 emerged as the ultimate symbol of American air power. The B-2's stealth is a masterpiece of design. Its flying wing shape eliminates radar-reflective surfaces, scattering signals away. Advanced carbon graphite composites and radar-absorbent coatings further shrink its radar signature to near invisibility. Engines are buried within the wing, with exhaust cooled and vented above to minimize heat and radar detection. Even contrails are managed to avoid giving away its position. The B-2's digital fly-by-wire system constantly balances its inherently unstable design, making it flyable and agile. Every element, from shape to materials to systems, is tuned for low observability. The result: a bomber that can slip past the world's best defenses, unseen and unstoppable. The B-2 is the ultimate ghost in the sky. The B-2's range is legendary: over 6,000 nautical miles unrefueled, able to strike anywhere from its US base. Missions can last more than 24 hours, with crews alternating rest in a cockpit designed for endurance. Aerial refueling with tankers like the KC-135 extends its reach almost indefinitely. B-2s have flown 44-hour combat missions, launching from Missouri, striking targets, and returning home in a single flight. This global reach means the B-2 can strike without warning, without relying on foreign bases. Its presence is a silent threat, projecting power from the heartland to any point on the globe. The B-2's endurance and stealth make it a uniquely potent tool of national policy. In the modern military arsenal, the B-2 Spirit occupies a unique and critical role. It is considered a Day One asset, meaning it is one of the first weapons to be used at the outset of a major conflict. Its primary mission is to kick down the door, to penetrate the most heavily defended enemy airspace and eliminate high-value targets that would otherwise be untouchable. These targets often include integrated air defense systems, command and control centers, and key communications nodes. By neutralizing these critical assets in the opening hours of a campaign, the B-2 paves the way for other, less stealthy aircraft to operate with a much lower degree of risk, establishing air superiority for the forces that follow. The B-2 is far more than just a blunt instrument, it is a platform for surgical precision. It can carry up to 40,000 pounds of munitions in its 2 internal weapons bays, and its arsenal is incredibly diverse. It is capable of deploying a wide range of precision-guided bombs, including the satellite-guided Joint Direct Attack Munition, or JDAM. A single B-2 can carry up to 8,500-pound JDAMs, allowing it to engage dozens of individual targets in a single pass with pinpoint accuracy. This capability was showcased in conflicts over Kosovo, Iraq and Libya, where B-2s destroyed strategic targets with devastating efficiency, while remaining completely undetected by enemy air defenses. Its ability to deliver a massive, precise payload makes it the ultimate tool for dismantling an enemy's war-making capacity from the inside out. Beyond its conventional role, the B-2 Spirit remains a cornerstone of America's nuclear deterrent. It is a key component of the nuclear triad, providing the most flexible and recallable leg of this strategic force. Unlike a ballistic missile, which once launched cannot be recalled, a B-2 can be deployed as a powerful signal of intent during a crisis, and ordered to return to base if the situation de-escalates. This makes it an invaluable tool for crisis management. Its stealth capabilities ensure that it can penetrate any adversary's airspace to deliver nuclear weapons, guaranteeing a credible retaliatory strike capability. This role as a nuclear-capable stealth bomber ensures that potential adversaries know there are no safe havens, a powerful deterrent against the use of weapons of mass destruction. Ultimately, the B-2 Spirit is the tip of America's strategic spear, a weapon system designed to hold at risk the most valuable and well-protected assets of any potential adversary. Its very existence creates a powerful deterrent effect, forcing rivals to invest billions in advanced air defense systems that may still prove ineffective against its stealth technology. With only 20 aircraft remaining in the fleet, each B-2 is a priceless national asset, reserved for the most critical missions. When diplomacy fails, and the United States needs to send an unmistakable message or eliminate a threat that lies deep within enemy territory, it is the silent, unseen wings of the B-2 Spirit that are called upon to deliver the decisive blow. As the B-2 Spirit established its dominance in the skies, a new and troubling challenge was emerging on the ground. Adversary nations, well aware of America's aerial supremacy and precision strike capabilities, began moving their most critical assets underground. They embarked on massive construction projects, burrowing deep beneath mountains and layers of reinforced concrete to create fortified sanctuaries for their command and control centers, weapons development programs, and leadership bunkers. This deep underground facility, or DUG strategy, was a direct counter to the effectiveness of existing air power. These subterranean fortresses were designed to be impervious to conventional bombing, creating a dangerous gap in the ability of the United States to neutralize its most significant threats. The U.S. military realized that its existing inventory of bunker-busting bombs, while effective against moderately hardened targets, was simply not powerful enough to defeat these super-hardened, deeply buried facilities. Weapons like the 5,000-pound GBU-58, developed during the First Gulf War, could penetrate dozens of feet of earth and concrete, but they were no match for facilities buried hundreds of feet deep under solid rock. This created an urgent operational need for a new class of weapon, one with unprecedented mass and penetrating power. The Defense Threat Reduction Agency, or DTRA, was tasked with a monumental challenge: to develop a conventional weapon that could reach and destroy targets once thought to be invulnerable, ensuring no enemy could hide from American reach. This urgent requirement gave birth to the Massive Ordnance Penetrator, or MOP, program. The concept was straightforward in its objective but incredibly complex in its execution, to create the largest, most powerful conventional penetrating bomb ever built. The project, led by Boeing, focused on designing a weapon that could harness sheer kinetic energy to burrow through unprecedented depths of rock and steel before detonating its massive explosive payload. It was a brute force solution to a brute force problem. The weapon had to be not only immense but also incredibly robust, with a casing capable of withstanding the colossal impact forces of slamming into a mountainside at supersonic speeds without shattering or deforming before reaching its intended depth. The result of this intensive development effort was the GBU-57A/B Massive Ordnance Penetrator. The program moved with remarkable speed, driven by growing concerns over the clandestine nuclear programs of nations like Iran and North Korea, both of whom were making extensive use of deep underground facilities to shield their activities from international scrutiny. The MOP was specifically designed with these threats in mind, a tailor-made key to unlock the world's most fortified doors. It represented a quantum leap in conventional ordnance, a weapon so powerful that it fundamentally changed the strategic calculus, putting previously untouchable targets squarely back in the crosshairs and restoring the deterrent power of American air supremacy. The GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator is a true titan of modern weaponry, an object of intimidating scale and singular purpose. Measuring over 20.5 feet in length and 31.5 inches in diameter, it's roughly the size of a small school bus, and weighs in at a staggering 30,000 pounds or 15 tons. This immense weight is the primary source of its penetrating power. When dropped from the high altitudes at which the B-2 bomber operates, the MOP accelerates under the force of gravity, building up tremendous kinetic energy. It's essentially a massive, guided steel dart designed to punch through the Earth's toughest defenses. Its sheer mass is what allows it to maintain momentum as it carves a path through rock, soil, and multiple layers of reinforced concrete. The bomb's casing is a masterpiece of materials science, forged from a specialized high-strength steel alloy engineered to endure unimaginable stresses. This ultra-tough shell makes up the vast majority of the weapon's weight, accounting for nearly 25,000 pounds. It's this hardened case that keeps the bomb intact as it slams into the ground and tunnels its way toward its target. Inside this protective shell lies the explosive payload, approximately 5,300 pounds of a powerful high-explosive mixture, typically an advanced polymer-bonded explosive like AFX 757. While this payload is substantial, the true destructive power of the MOP comes from its ability to deliver this explosion deep inside a fortified structure, where the blast effects are contained and magnified, causing catastrophic damage from within. To ensure it strikes its target with surgical precision, the GBU-57 is equipped with a sophisticated GPS guidance system, similar to the one used in the smaller JDAM family of weapons. This system uses signals from a constellation of satellites to guide the bomb to a precise set of coordinates, typically with an accuracy of just a few feet. As the bomb falls, a set of 4 grid fins on its tail deploy to provide steering, making constant small adjustments to its trajectory to ensure it hits the exact aim point. This precision is critical, as hitting the correct spot on the surface, such as an elevator shaft or a ventilation tunnel, can significantly enhance the bomb's ability to penetrate into the heart of an underground complex. The final critical component of the MOP is its fuse system. The bomb is equipped with highly advanced hardened fuses that are designed to survive the violent impact and penetration phase. These fuses are programmable, allowing mission planners to determine exactly when the bomb should detonate. They can be set to explode after penetrating a specific number of layers, after a certain amount of time has elapsed, or once the bomb's internal sensors detect that it has reached a void, such as the inside of a bunker chamber. This precise control over detonation ensures that the 5,300-pound warhead explodes at the point of maximum effect, collapsing tunnels, destroying equipment, and neutralizing the threat hidden deep beneath the surface. The destructive sequence of a GBU-57 strike is a symphony of physics and engineering, beginning the moment it is released from the B-2's weapons bay. From an altitude of over 40,000 feet, the bomb begins its silent, guided descent. For several minutes it falls, its GPS receiver locked onto its target coordinates, while its grid fins steer it with unerring accuracy. As it plummets through the atmosphere, it gathers speed, reaching a terminal velocity well over the speed of sound. By the time it reaches the ground, this 15-ton projectile is traveling at more than 1,000 feet per second, carrying an immense amount of kinetic energy, the energy of motion, which it will expend to tear through the earth. Upon impact, the GBU-57 does not explode. Instead, its hardened steel nose cone and incredibly durable body begin the violent work of penetration. The sheer force of the impact liquefies soil and pulverizes concrete, allowing the bomb to carve a tunnel. Its immense momentum carries it forward, smashing through layer after layer of defense. According to performance specifications, the MOP is capable of burrowing through up to 200 feet of 5,000 psi reinforced concrete or up to 60 feet of solid rock before it even begins to slow down. This capability is what sets it apart from all other conventional munitions, allowing it to reach depths that were previously thought to be completely secure from aerial attack. The journey through earth and rock is a brutal one, subjecting the bomb to incredible forces of deceleration and friction. This is where the MOP's robust design proves its worth. The fuse system is specifically engineered to withstand this violent journey without triggering prematurely. It uses a combination of accelerometers and timers to arm the warhead only after it has passed through a predetermined amount of resistance, ensuring the explosion happens at the right place and the right time. This intelligent fusing is crucial. A premature detonation would waste the bomb's energy on the surface, while a delayed one might fail to go off at all. The fuses must be both tough and smart to achieve the desired effect deep underground. Once the fuse determines the bomb has reached its target depth, it initiates the 5,300-pound high-explosive warhead. The resulting detonation is cataclysmic, but not in the way a surface explosion is. Contained deep underground, the blast energy has nowhere to go but outwards into the surrounding structure. The immense pressure wave it generates expands rapidly, shattering concrete walls, collapsing tunnels, and generating a powerful ground shock that can destroy or disable sensitive equipment for hundreds of feet around. For anyone or anything inside the facility, the effect is absolute. The MOP doesn't just damage a bunker, it is designed to cause a total structural collapse, entombing the facility and everything within it under tons of rubble. By the spring of 2025, the international situation had reached a perilous boiling point. Years of fruitless negotiations, broken promises, and escalating provocations had failed to halt Iran's clandestine nuclear ambitions. Intelligence reports, growing more alarming by the day, suggested that the nation was on the very brink of achieving nuclear breakout capability, a development that threatened to destabilize the entire Middle East and ignite a regional arms race. At the heart of this crisis were several heavily fortified sites, most notably the Fordow fuel enrichment plant, buried deep beneath a mountain near the city of Qom. This facility, along with others at Natanz and Isfahan, was designed to be impervious to conventional attack, a defiant symbol of a program that had moved beyond the reach of diplomacy. As tensions mounted, the world watched with bated breath. Sanctions had proven ineffective, and the window for a peaceful resolution was rapidly closing. Behind the scenes in the highest echelons of the United States government and military, a momentous decision was being weighed. The existence of a nuclear-armed Iran was deemed an unacceptable threat to global security. All other options had been exhausted. The time had come to deploy a capability that had been developed for precisely this scenario: the combination of the B-2 Spirit and the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. The order was given to begin planning for a mission of unprecedented scale and complexity, a mission that would have zero margin for error. The operation was codenamed Midnight Hammer. The planning for Operation Midnight Hammer was one of the most closely guarded secrets in the U.S. military. A small select group of strategists, intelligence analysts, and mission planners from the Air Force Global Strike Command worked in complete isolation. They meticulously analyzed satellite imagery, electronic intelligence, and human source reports to build a precise, three-dimensional picture of the target sites. Every detail was scrutinized, from the thickness of the concrete overhead to the layout of the underground chambers. The mission's success depended on surgical precision. It was not enough to simply damage the facilities, they had to be rendered completely inoperable, a task that fell to the unique power of the GBU-57. Simultaneously, at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, the air crews of the 509th Bomb Wing began their own intensive preparations, all under the guise of routine training exercises. The 7 B-2 crews selected for the mission were the most experienced in the fleet, veterans of countless long-duration sorties. They spent hundreds of hours in high-fidelity simulators rehearsing every phase of the flight, from takeoff to the multiple critical in-air refuelings over vast stretches of ocean. They practiced their attack runs on virtual models of the Iranian targets, memorizing ingress routes and contingency plans. They were preparing to fly into the heart of a hostile nation's air defense network, a journey from which their survival depended entirely on the perfection of their aircraft's stealth and their own flawless execution. On the evening of June 21, 2025, under the cover of darkness, the mission began. One by one, 7 B-2 Spirits with call signs Ghost 1 through Ghost 7 lifted off the runway at Whiteman Air Force Base and just vanished into the Missouri night sky. Each bomber carried a pretty formidable payload, two 30,000-pound GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrators nestled securely in its weapons bay. Their flight path was a carefully choreographed transcontinental journey, designed to avoid commercial air traffic and, the prying eyes of foreign surveillance. They flew east, crossing the Atlantic Ocean in complete radio silence, their existence known only to the mission controllers at a secure command center and the tanker crews waiting to support them. The flight was a grueling test of endurance for the two-person crews. For over 30 hours, their world was the confined space of the B-2 cockpit, a bubble of advanced technology soaring miles above the Earth. They flew in a loose, staggered formation, separated by miles but connected by secure, low probability of intercept data links. The long hours were punctuated by moments of intense focus during the critical aerial refueling procedures. High over the Atlantic, and later the Mediterranean, they met with KC-135 and KC-46 tankers, approaching the massive aircraft with practiced precision to take on thousands of pounds of fuel. These mid-air link-ups were really the lifeblood of the mission, extending the bombers' reach and enabling them to arrive over their targets with enough fuel for the return journey. As the B-2S crossed into hostile airspace, the tension in the cockpits reached its peak. This was the moment their multi-billion-dollar stealth technology would be put to the ultimate test. The crews monitored their defensive systems, watching for any sign of detection by Iranian early warning radar. But the screens, they remained clear. The bombers slipped through the vaunted air defense network like phantoms, their radar cross-section, no bigger than a marble, lost in the background noise. They were ghosts in the machine, invisible predators closing in on their prey. The pilots and mission commanders worked in silent synergy, verifying their navigation, arming their weapons, and preparing for the final attack run. The 7 aircraft split up, each heading towards its pre-assigned targets. 3 bombers were tasked with striking the hardened Fordo facility, 2 were assigned to the sprawling Natanz enrichment site, and the final 2 were designated for the suspected weapons development complex near Isfahan. The precision of the operation was paramount. The GBU-57S had to be delivered to exact coordinates to maximize their devastating effects on the underground structures. As they approached their individual initial points, the final turn before the weapons release, the bomb bay doors of the B-2S slid open, exposing the massive bombs to the cold night air. The culmination of decades of technology and months of planning was now just moments away. In the minutes just after local midnight on June 22, 2025, the first hammer fell. Over the mountains of Fordow, Ghost 1 released its first GBU-57. The 15-ton weapon dropped silently from the bomb bay, its GPS guidance system immediately acquiring satellite signals and steering it towards the precise aim point on the mountainside above the buried facility. Seconds later, a second B-2 released its payload, followed by the third. In a carefully timed sequence, a total of 6 massive ordnance penetrators were sent hurtling towards the Earth, aimed at different points above the vast underground complex to create a devastating pattern of destruction. The bombs struck the rocky surface at supersonic speeds, disappearing without a surface explosion, their immense kinetic energy driving them deep into the mountain. Simultaneously, hundreds of miles away, the same scene was playing out over Natanz and Isfahan. The B-2S assigned to these targets also delivered their payloads with surgical accuracy. Within a span of less than 5 minutes, all 7 bombers had released their 2 MOPs, a total of 14 bunker busters, representing 420,000 pounds of advanced ordnance, had been delivered to the heart of Iran's most secret facilities. The B-2S, their mission complete, banked away, their bomb bay doors closing as they climbed back to altitude and began their long, silent journey home. They had delivered their crippling blow without ever being detected, leaving behind a scene of subterranean chaos that would only become apparent hours later. Deep beneath the surface, the MOPs performed their design function with terrifying efficiency. After burrowing through hundreds of feet of rock and reinforced concrete, their intelligent fuses detonated the 5,300-pound warheads, The contained blasts generated immense shock waves that propagated through the ground, turning the carefully constructed tunnels and chambers of the Fordo facility into a collapsed tomb of rubble and twisted steel. The delicate high-speed centrifuges used for uranium enrichment were pulverized by the violent ground shock. Command centers were obliterated and vital infrastructure was severed. The facility, once thought to be an impregnable fortress, had been catastrophically compromised from within. The effects on the surface were subtle at first, masking the true scale of the devastation below. Seismographs in neighboring countries registered a series of sharp, localized tremors, initially mistaken for minor earthquakes. But as the sun rose, the first satellite images began to reveal the truth. Large sinkholes and fractures had appeared on the surface above the underground facilities. Puffs of dust and smoke could be seen venting from tunnel entrances that had been violently collapsed. For defense analysts around the world, the evidence was clear and undeniable. The United States had successfully used a weapon of immense power to surgically remove a threat that no other nation on Earth could have reached, executing the mission with a level of precision that was both awe-inspiring and, honestly, deeply unsettling. The immediate aftermath of Operation Midnight Hammer sent shockwaves through the global geopolitical landscape. The Iranian regime, caught completely by surprise and its most prized strategic assets reduced to rubble, was thrown into a state of confusion and disarray. Their sophisticated air defense network had failed to detect a single intruder, a stunning and humiliating revelation that underscored the technological chasm between them and the United States. The surgical nature of the strike, which precisely targeted military nuclear sites while avoiding civilian casualties, left them with few viable options for retaliation that would not risk a much wider, more devastating conflict. The message had been delivered with brutal clarity. There was no place to hide. For the international community, the operation was a stark demonstration of America's unique global strike capability. Allies expressed a mixture of relief and quiet admiration, while adversaries were forced into a grim recalculation of their own strategic vulnerabilities. The successful use of the B-2 and GBU-57 combination fundamentally altered the doctrine of deterrence. It proved that even the most deeply buried and heavily fortified facilities were now at risk. The concept of an invulnerable sanctuary for developing weapons of mass destruction or for housing wartime leadership had been effectively erased. This new reality would compel nations to reconsider the immense cost of building such facilities, knowing they could be neutralized in a single ghost-like attack. Operation Midnight Hammer became a legendary case study within military circles, a textbook example of a successful strategic strike. It validated decades of investment in stealth technology and advanced munitions. The flawless performance of the B-2 bombers on a mission of extreme range and duration, coupled with the devastating effectiveness of the GBU-57, showcased a weapon system at the absolute peak of its power. The mission reinforced the B-2's role as the tip of the spear, an asset reserved for the most critical of national security tasks. It was a powerful reminder that, in an age of asymmetric warfare and cyber threats, the raw power of a strategic bomber remained a vital and irreplaceable element of national power. Ultimately, the first combat use of the Massive Ordnance Penetrator ushered in a new era. While the immediate goal was to dismantle a specific nuclear threat, the long-term implication was one of restored deterrence. The operation sent a powerful unspoken message to any other nation pursuing a similar path. Clandestine weapons programs, no matter how deep you bury them, can be found and they can be destroyed. The silent wings of the B-2, carrying their mountain-cracking hammers, had not only reshaped a mountain in Iran, but had also redrawn the boundaries of what was possible in modern warfare, ensuring that for the foreseeable future, some secrets would be impossible to keep. You might be watching this and asking a very logical question. If the B-2 and its bunker-busting payload are so effective, why hasn't every major world power developed something similar? The primary reason is that creating a true stealth bomber is one of the most difficult engineering challenges in modern history. The B-2's ability to remain invisible is not the result of a single breakthrough, but a complex and delicate symphony of interlocking technologies. It represents a technological chasm that for decades no other nation has been able to cross. The secrets behind its low observable characteristics are some of the most jealously guarded in the entire U.S. military-industrial complex, a culmination of knowledge that has been built up over generations of classified research and development. The foundation of this technological gap lies in the B-2's radical flying wing design and the materials from which it is constructed. Mastering the aerodynamics of a tailless aircraft that is inherently unstable requires an incredibly sophisticated digital fly-by-wire system, one that can make thousands of corrections per second. This alone is a monumental software and hardware challenge. Beyond that, the airframe is built from advanced carbon fiber composites and coated in a highly classified radar-absorbent material, or RAM. The precise composition of this material, its application process, and its maintenance are secrets known to only a select few. Even if a rival nation could replicate the B-2's shape, without the exact material science, their aircraft would light up a radar screen like a Christmas tree. Furthermore, every single component of the B-2 is designed with stealth in mind. The engines are buried deep within the wing to hide their hot, rotating fan blades from radar. The engine intakes are shaped to prevent radar waves from entering, and the exhaust nozzles are designed to cool the hot gases and mask the aircraft's heat signature from infrared sensors. Even the panel gaps, access hatches and screw heads are meticulously designed and sealed to avoid creating any sharp edges that could reflect a radar signal. This holistic, all-encompassing approach to stealth is what makes the B-2 so effective. It is not enough to have one or two stealthy features. Every square inch of the aircraft must adhere to the unforgiving principles of low observability, a feat of integration that is extraordinarily difficult to achieve. This technological barrier extends to the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator as well. While the concept of a large bomb is simple, creating one that can withstand the immense forces of impacting a mountainside at supersonic speed without shattering is a profound metallurgical challenge. The specialized steel alloy used for the MOPS casing must be both incredibly hard and durable. The guidance systems and, most critically, the fuse mechanisms must be hardened to survive this violent journey and function perfectly at the precise moment required. This combination of extreme materials, science, hardened electronics and intelligent fusing is far beyond the reach of most countries, making the complete B-2 and GBU-57 weapon system a capability that remains, for now, uniquely American. Even if a nation possessed the technological know-how to build a B-2, the second and equally prohibitive barrier is the astronomical cost. The B-2 Spirit holds the Guinness World Record as the most expensive aircraft ever built. When accounting for development, engineering, testing, and construction, the program's total cost was an estimated $44.75 billion in the late 1990s. This works out to an average cost of a staggering $2.13 billion per aircraft. To put that into perspective, you could purchase a modern Nimitz-class aircraft carrier for about twice that price. This level of expenditure is simply beyond what most nations are willing or able to invest in a single weapons platform, no matter how capable it may be. The immense cost is a direct result of the cutting-edge technology and manufacturing processes required. The advanced composite materials are expensive to produce and difficult to work with. The B-2's large, curved sections had to be manufactured to incredibly tight tolerances, requiring specialized tools and facilities that had to be designed and built from scratch. The radar-absorbent coatings are not only costly to produce but also require constant and painstaking maintenance by highly trained ground crews. Every hour the B-2 spends in the air requires over 50 hours of maintenance on the ground, much of it dedicated to preserving its delicate stealth skin in climate-controlled hangars. This makes the B-2 not only expensive to build, but also incredibly expensive to operate and maintain throughout its service life. The original plan during the Cold War was to procure a fleet of 132 B-2 bombers. However, with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the primary justification for such a large and expensive fleet evaporated. The program was dramatically scaled back by Congress and the Pentagon, and in the end, production was capped at just 21 aircraft, including the initial test prototype. This drastic reduction in the number of planes built had the paradoxical effect of driving the cost of each individual aircraft even higher, as the massive research and development costs had to be spread across a much smaller fleet. This decision cemented the B-2's status as a rare and precious national asset, a silver bullet weapon reserved for only the most critical of missions. This economic reality is a powerful deterrent in itself. A potential rival looking to match this capability would have to commit tens of billions of dollars to a multi-decade development program with no guarantee of success. They would need to build a new industrial base, train a generation of specialized engineers and technicians, and accept the enormous financial risk. For most countries, the resources required for such a project would cripple their budgets for other essential military and domestic needs. It is far more practical and cost-effective for them to invest in other areas like cyber warfare, anti-ship missiles, or more conventional air forces. The sheer price tag of the B-2 ensures it remains in a class of its own, a symbol of a nation willing to pay any price for absolute air dominance. The final piece of the puzzle explaining why no one else has a B-2 and GBU-57 combination is a matter of strategic purpose, or intent. Most of the world's air forces are designed and structured primarily for regional defense. Their main purpose is to protect their own nation's airspace, support ground forces in their immediate vicinity, and project power within their own continent or geographic neighborhood. They might procure advanced fighter jets, surface-to-air missile systems, and shorter-range bombers, all of which are perfectly adequate for these regional missions. They simply do not have the strategic requirement, or the geopolitical ambition, to hold a target on the opposite side of the planet at risk within 24 hours. The United States, however, operates under a different strategic doctrine. As a global superpower with interests and treaty obligations spanning every continent, the U.S. military requires a true global strike capability. This is the ability to project decisive military power rapidly, over intercontinental distances, and into any environment, including heavily defended airspace. This doctrine demands aircraft like the B-2, which can take off from the continental United States, fly halfway around the world, penetrate sophisticated air defenses, destroy a critical target, and return home. This unique requirement is born from America's role in international security, from deterring aggression against allies in Europe and Asia to countering threats from rogue states and terrorist organizations. This strategic imperative is what drove the development of not just the B-2, but also the GBU-57. The need to destroy deeply buried nuclear facilities in countries like Iran or North Korea is a problem unique to a nation that has taken on the responsibility of global non-proliferation. No other country has both the stated intent and the political will to carry out such missions. Therefore, no other country has had the specific motivation to invest the immense resources necessary to develop a 30,000-pound mountain-penetrating bomb and the stealthy platform required to deliver it. The GBU-57 is a solution to a problem that, from a strategic standpoint, only the United States has been trying to solve. Ultimately, the B-2 and the MOP are not just pieces of hardware, they are the physical embodiment of a uniquely American strategic philosophy. This philosophy prioritizes global reach, technological overmatch, and the ability to hold any adversary's most valuable assets at risk, no matter where they are or how deeply they are buried. It is a doctrine built on the idea that the best way to prevent a conflict is to possess the undeniable ability to win it decisively. This combination of advanced technology, vast economic resources, and a specific global mission is a trifecta that no other nation has been able to replicate. It is the reason why, more than 3 decades after its first flight, the B-2 Spirit remains an unparalleled instrument of power, a silent guardian of a very specific world order. While the B-2 Spirit remains the undisputed king of stealth bombers, its reign is not eternal. The relentless march of technology, especially in the fields of sensors, anti-aircraft systems, and networked air defenses, means that what is cutting edge today will, inevitably become vulnerable tomorrow. Recognizing this, the United States Air Force initiated a new program to develop the next generation of long-range strategic bomber, an aircraft designed to operate and succeed in the highly contested environments of the mid-21st century. This successor, already in flight testing and shrouded in its own veil of secrecy, is the Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider. It represents not just a replacement for the B-2, but honestly a fundamental leap forward in stealth, connectivity, and adaptability. The B-21 Raider builds upon the legendary legacy of the B-2, retaining the iconic flying wing design that has proven so effective at evading radar detection. However, it incorporates more than 3 decades of technological advancements since the B-2 was first conceived. The B-21 is expected to feature an even lower observable signature, thanks to new generations of radar-absorbent materials, more advanced manufacturing techniques that create a smoother and more seamless surface, and a next-generation thermal management system to further reduce its heat signature. It is being designed from the ground up with an open architecture approach, allowing for rapid and affordable integration of new technologies and weapon systems as they become available, ensuring it can evolve to meet future threats without requiring costly and time-consuming redesigns. One of the key differences between the B-21 and its predecessor is a focus on affordability and scalability. While the B-2 was a priceless silver bullet asset with only 21 ever built, the Air Force plans to procure at least 100 B-21 Raiders. This larger fleet size will provide greater operational flexibility and the ability to deploy a persistent stealth bomber presence in multiple theaters simultaneously. The B-21 is also being designed to be optionally manned, giving commanders the choice to send it on the most dangerous missions without risking a human crew. This forward-thinking capability bridges the gap between traditional manned bombers and the future of autonomous combat systems, making the Raider a truly next-generation platform ready for a new era of warfare. As the B-21 prepares to enter service over the next decade, it will gradually take over the mantle from both the B-2 Spirit and the venerable B-1 Lancer bomber fleets. It is engineered to carry out the same core missions, penetrating enemy airspace, delivering both conventional and nuclear payloads, and providing a credible global deterrent. The Raider will inherit the B-2's role as the tip of the spear, the first asset through the door in a major conflict. With its enhanced stealth, advanced sensors and networking capabilities, the B-21 Raider is poised to ensure that America's long-range strike dominance continues for generations to come, casting a long shadow into a future of increasing strategic competition. Just as the platforms that deliver them are evolving, so too are the bunker-busting weapons themselves. The GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator represents the current pinnacle of conventional penetrating power. But military planners and weapons designers are already looking toward the next generation of Earth-penetrating munitions. Future threats may involve even deeper or more cleverly concealed targets, requiring weapons that are not only powerful, but also smarter. Development is underway on enhanced versions of the MOP and entirely new classes of weapons that incorporate advanced sensor and guidance technologies, allowing them to do more than just follow a set of GPS coordinates to their destination. One area of intense research is the development of smart penetrators that can actively guide themselves during the terminal phase of their attack. Imagine a bunker-busting bomb equipped with ground-penetrating radar or seismic sensors that allow it to map the underground facility as it burrows through the earth. Such a weapon could identify voids, tunnels, and chambers in real time, adjusting its trajectory to steer itself towards the most critical part of the complex before detonation. This would dramatically increase its lethality, ensuring the explosive payload is delivered to the command center or reactor core, rather than just a random point within the facility, making every shot count and overcoming enemy attempts to deceive targeting with decoy chambers. Another avenue of development focuses on increasing penetration capability, not just through sheer mass, but through advanced physics. Concepts being explored include multi-stage penetrators, where an initial charge clears a path for a secondary, more powerful warhead to follow. Another idea involves using rocket motors to re-accelerate the weapon after it has already begun to tunnel through the ground, giving it an extra boost of kinetic energy to reach even greater depths. These advanced designs aim to defeat targets that are buried so deep they are beyond the reach of even the current GBU-57, ensuring that no adversary can ever feel truly safe by simply digging deeper into the earth. Ultimately, the future of bunker busters will likely include a family of weapons tailored for specific missions. While a massive weapon like the MOP will always be necessary for the most hardened targets, there is also a need for smaller, more numerous penetrating bombs that can be carried by a wider range of aircraft, including stealth fighters like the F-35. These next-generation weapons will be smarter, more precise, and potentially faster, incorporating elements of hypersonic technology. The goal remains the same: to hold any target at risk, ensuring that the ability to reach deep into the Earth keeps pace with the ability to hide within it, maintaining a crucial strategic advantage. Looking further into the future, the very nature of the strategic strike mission is set to undergo a profound transformation. While the B-21 Raider will serve as the backbone of the manned penetrating strike force for decades, it will increasingly operate as part of a complex, interconnected system of systems. The future battlefield will be a network of manned aircraft, autonomous drones, hypersonic weapons, and space-based assets, all working in concert. The B-21 may not fly into contested airspace alone. Instead, it could act as the quarterback for a team of unmanned wingmen, or collaborative combat aircraft, which fly ahead to jam enemy radar, gather intelligence, and even engage threats. These autonomous drones represent a paradigm shift in aerial combat. They are being designed to be attritable, meaning they are inexpensive enough that their loss in combat would be acceptable, allowing commanders to take risks that would be unthinkable with a multi-billion-dollar manned bomber. A B-21 could launch a swarm of these collaborative combat aircraft to saturate enemy defenses, or to carry specialized payloads, such as smaller penetrating bombs or electronic warfare packages. This team-based approach multiplies the effectiveness of the manned platform, distributing risk and creating a more resilient and adaptable strike package that can overwhelm even the most sophisticated air defense systems with a multi-pronged, coordinated attack. Alongside the rise of autonomous systems is the dawn of the hypersonic age. Hypersonic weapons, which travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound, present a revolutionary challenge to existing defenses. Their incredible speed and unpredictable flight paths make them nearly impossible to intercept. Future stealth bombers like the B-21 will likely serve as launch platforms for air-launched hypersonic cruise missiles. A B-21 could fly to the edge of contested airspace and release a hypersonic weapon that could then travel hundreds or even thousands of miles to its target in a matter of minutes, striking with overwhelming kinetic energy and providing very little warning time for the enemy to react. This evolving ecosystem of strike capabilities means the future of strategic bombing will be less about a single silver bullet aircraft and more about the power of the network. The ability to penetrate enemy airspace will depend on a combination of stealth, speed, electronic warfare, and autonomous swarms. The future B-21 and its successors will be the central nodes in this network, orchestrating a complex ballet of destruction from the edge of the battle space. While the image of a lone bomber delivering a single massive bomb will endure, the reality of the future strike mission will be far more complex, distributed, and undeniably more lethal. In the final analysis, the B-2 Spirit and the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator represent more than just advanced military hardware. They are the living embodiment of a strategic doctrine built on silent dominance and surgical power. For over 3 decades, the B-2 has patrolled the skies as a ghost, its very existence a powerful deterrent that has shaped global geopolitics. Its ability to traverse continents, slip through the world's most formidable defenses undetected, and deliver a devastating payload with pinpoint accuracy, is a capability that remains unmatched. It is a weapon system born from the high-stakes chess match of the Cold War, yet it has proven its timeless relevance in the complex conflicts of the modern era. This silent sentinel does not fly alone. Its ultimate power is fully realized when paired with the GBU-57, a weapon born from the necessity to hold at risk those who would seek sanctuary deep beneath the earth. The MOP is a testament to brute force engineering, a 15-ton hammer capable of cracking mountains and erasing the most fortified bunkers from existence. Together, the B-2 and GBU-57 form a symbiotic pairing of stealth and strength, a combination that solves one of the most difficult challenges in warfare: how to eliminate a threat that is determined to hide. They send a clear and unwavering message to any potential adversary: there is no fortress you can build, and no depth to which you can dig, that will place you beyond our reach. The story of Operation Midnight Hammer, though a fictionalized account for this narrative, illustrates the profound impact of this weapon system. The mission showcased not just the technological prowess required for such a strike, but the political will to use it as a tool of last resort. It demonstrated that when diplomacy fails and a critical threat emerges, the United States possesses a unique capability to act decisively and unilaterally if necessary. This ability to project power without warning, to deliver an answer from the silent darkness above, serves as a powerful check on the ambitions of those who would disrupt international stability, fundamentally altering their risk calculations. As we stand on the cusp of a new era, with the B-21 Raider on the horizon and hypersonic weapons redefining the nature of speed, the legacy of the B-2 and MOP remains secure. They are the benchmarks against which all future strategic strike systems will be measured. They are not weapons of wanton conquest, but instruments of calculated deterrence, designed to prevent wars by making the cost of aggression unacceptably high. Their purpose is to ensure that even in a world of rising tension and buried secrets, some lines will not be crossed, guarded by the silent sentinels of American air power. The B-2 Spirit and the GBU-57 bunker buster are, in essence, weapons of last resort. They are not tools for everyday conflict, but are reserved for the most grave and perilous of circumstances, when the security of the nation and its allies hangs in the balance. Their deployment signifies the failure of all other instruments of statecraft: diplomacy, sanctions, and negotiation. In that critical moment, they become the ultimate expression of a nation's resolve, a final, decisive answer that comes without warning from the heavens. This role places an immense weight of responsibility on the shoulders of those who command them, for their use carries consequences that reverberate across the globe, reshaping alliances and redrawing strategic maps. Their legacy is therefore a complex one, forged in the shadows of secret development and the conceptual fire of absolute destruction. On one hand, they are celebrated as marvels of technological achievement and essential pillars of national security, the guarantors of a hard-won peace. They represent the pinnacle of a defense strategy aimed at preventing major conflicts by ensuring an overwhelming and credible response to any aggression. The knowledge that such a capability exists in reserve is a powerful force for stability, discouraging potential adversaries from miscalculating the potential cost of their actions and pushing them towards more peaceful resolutions. On the other hand, the very existence of such overwhelmingly powerful weapons raises profound and necessary questions. Are we, as a global community, stepping too close to the edge when a single aircraft can obliterate a nation's most secret facilities in a matter of minutes? Does the possession of such power create a temptation to bypass diplomacy in favor of a swift military solution? These are not easy questions, and they form the core of the ongoing debate surrounding strategic weapons. They remind us that with great power comes not only great responsibility, but also a perpetual need for wisdom, restraint, and a clear understanding of the human cost of conflict. Ultimately, the B-2 Spirit and the GBU-57 will be remembered as icons of a specific moment in history, a time when technological supremacy was the key to global deterrence. As we look to the future, to the B-21 and beyond, the principles they represent will endure: the pursuit of overmatch, the value of stealth, and the strategic importance of global reach. They stand as a testament to human ingenuity and a sobering reminder of the terrifying reality of modern warfare. They are America's ultimate power, held in reserve, a silent promise that when all other options fail, there will be an answer from above.